Bonjour, salam, gumo, hello. This is Ashk and Bela with our new podcast, and I'm so happy to be back. I know you all have been waiting for me to come back with a new podcast, and I know I've let my family down.
Some of you.
But I'm back. I'm finally back, and I brought a little sister with me, and we decided we're going to do a podcast together. I think our combination is a very well one, and we named it Domination because I think
That we will elaborate on later.
Definitely.
All details, so don't worry.
I prepared a little intro because I thought, well, let's put a bit structure into this. Let me just read it into it so you can all prepare, get into the mindset of what it means to get dominated by dolls. So let's go. Are you sick and tired of podcasts with cis straight white men talking about how to teach you hustle culture? Are you bored by podcasts about queer people talking about sweet community care and how we should all be nice to each other in order to survive? Is being nice and kind and respectful getting too dull? Is the current political climate getting under your skin and you just want to cuss people out, putting on your stiletto nails and scratch men's eyes out? Girl,
Oh, yes.
do I have a podcast for you? Let me introduce you to the both of us. We are two fabulous, fierce, and larger-than-life dolls that are glamorous, angry, and unfiltered. Let me just show the unfilteredness. Our podcast, where ridiculing men is not only fun, it's a way of living. A podcast where life in Berlin, in this distorted global culture, is dissected by two fabulously anthropologically aware dolls with a knack for causing drama and hot takes. This is a podcast for the queers who are tired of behaving, for the babes who are overdressed, underpaid, and over it, for the girlies who walk through the world like a glitter bomb with unresolved trauma. Because let's be honest, we live in strange times. So sometimes instead of healing, we need something else. We are two dolls with opinions, two dolls with stories, two dolls who have survived Berlin nightlife, queer politics, messy friendships, bad dates, ideological purity tests, and the occasional existential crisis outside the Späti at 7 a.m. So on this podcast, we're talking about everything, because being a doll is not just about surviving, it's about having intentions, being annoying. So welcome us. We are Doll Domination, and we're going to teach you what doll domination means, and we're going to teach you and introduce you to the world of fierceness. So let me just start with a basic question. Bela, my love,
Hi.
how did we come up with this idea?
I think this idea came from our desire to keep taking up more and more space and to be the center of attention.
Us?
No, but that is like a small part, I would say. But more than that, we're both former podcast girlies. I had my podcast, Queering the Perspective, for almost 5 years now. And I've gone through a huge journey, and I'm so grateful for this experience to have done a podcast and being able to meet all of these amazing queer and trans people and learn from them. And you also had your own podcast adventure last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now we want to come together and create something that goes beyond our own little Delulu universe. But
She called me delusional.
yes, but that goes beyond what we think, our little brains, but make it a dialogue, getting to know each other as well very intimately, which I'm sure is going to happen.
You gotta bring romance into this.
Exactly. A little lesbian romance. And yeah, and also I think just this feeling of being fed up, being tired, being annoyed with men, with fascism, with so many things, and needing to have a space to vent. So if you're not into venting, this is not your place. But I'm gonna assure you the hot takes are gonna be very hot.
So I think we basically answered a lot of questions. I think the next question that I want to ask ourselves and also let you know is, what is our mission? Why are we doing this?
Tell me.
For me personally, also my last podcast, which was called Love Techno Cunt, which was just me explaining my life here in Berlin, how I go through it, how I navigate it, and what queerness means to me, queer community building, as well as my own perspective on things and my own experiences. And I think the both of us, we have really experienced a lot of shit in our lifetime, and we have set a lot of intentions for ourselves. And I think people like me and Bela, who are so clear with how we want to change the world and how we want to build community, it was just natural for us to set ourselves on a mission to create something together for the community and for ourselves. Not only to raise awareness, but also to raise awareness, sorry. But also to explore things, explore issues, and put something out there. Who are we? I think that's a big question that we need to answer. Let's start with a little introduction. How about that?
Yeah.
Before we just dive into the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Who are you, Bela?
Oh my god. Not you coming with the existential questions, and it's not even 7 a.m. Yes, who am I? Well, I'm a Berlin born and raised doll, and I work with TGU, Trans Europe and Central Asia, as communications coordinator. As I said, I have my own podcast. I do community organizing and political education, and just like trying to manage myself, trying to just manage to keep on living. But also I think most of the but also in my work, what's most important for me is the amplification and the empowerment of all kinds of queer and trans voices, and that's at the forefront of whatever I do. And that's also part of why I'm super passionate to make this podcast. Oh, hi, kitty cats.
We have little kitty cats here.
Cute. Oh my god.
So if you see some kittens here walking around,
it's the pussy effect.
get excited. We are a lesbian household here.
Yes. So I think also, one important reason for making this podcast is the fact that dolls are super underrepresented in anything that comes to media. Dolls are super underrepresented in anything that comes to media. So we are always good enough to be like the model or to be like the pretty queen, but you rarely hear trans girls storytelling from their own perspective. And especially in politics, I think trans perspectives are so important and can be really revealing about a lot of social issues that we're having. And I love to use the lens of like queer theory, trans studies to understand the times that we're going through and the backlash that we face and dissect everything a little bit.
Period.
I think that's me, yeah.
You do that beautifully, baby. So who am I? My name is Eschk, they, them pronouns. So for the ones of you who call me not a doll, well, I am, honey. I'm transfeminine. I think we will explore that too. What it means to be a doll. We're going to do a separate episode on that one. So yeah, they, them pronouns. And if I catch someone calling me a he, then we're going to have a problem. I'm Afghan. I was born and raised in Germany, though, even though my only German qualities are my punctuality and my knack for Pretzel. I'm a whore. That's every time someone asks me what do I do, I always say proudly I'm a sex worker. I'm a prostitute. I'm a whore. Because honey, I think I was born for that. I exemplify erotics clearly.
Look at her.
And I think that's a very important part of me. Then I also love club culture, queer community, walking into a space, knowing people are just there with intention, bring their full self. And I think that what ultimately drew me to Berlin, a city full of history, full of culture, full of trauma. And it really is summarized in the essence of club culture. So what I also am is a nightlife socialite. I walk around the clubs. I truly believe in my delusional self that I own this place. And desperate attention whore. I think that's how we found each other. So I think that's what quintessentially is me. I'm attention whore. I love community building. I live for politics.
Don't underestimate that part.
I've been studying politics for about 15 years now. Not like as in university. I think I'm too neurodivergent to go to like a college session or whatever. I'm more of an autodidactic learner. And politics is always at the center of all the things I do. So yeah, clubbing, sex work, politics, expression.
Yeah.
If you think about those things, you will ultimately meet me.
Yes.
And what I want everyone to know is this podcast should be something about, we will talk about politics. We will talk about what it means to be doing liberational work, community work, raising awareness, activism, and doing it fiercely.
And being uncomfortable, not wanting to be easily digestible, and also maybe sometimes having a take that is controversial. That's also what this is about. We're not here to be 100% woke, to be 100% politically correct, because
Transphobia here.
Because let's face it, political correctness has only brought us so far. And what we also need right now is to just strongly and fiercely give an anti-discourse to the establishment, to the status quo that is supporting genocide, that is suppressing people, that everybody is suffering under, and not to try to appease the mainstream in order to be featured in a advertisement for the Bundeswehr.
Even though I see myself as a soldier.
Soldier of what?
Oof, soldier of the revolution, honey. Like, give me a
First
pick,
hot take.
MK47, honey.
I mean, yeah,
With
arm
it.
the dolls too, but maybe
Arm
not
the dolls,
in the
honey.
Bundeswehr.
No, not the Bundeswehr. Oh, honey. If you're in the Bundeswehr watching this right now, send us a little text. Let's see.
Let's talk.
Let's talk. Maybe you'll be our special guest in one
Yeah.
episode. I think I would love that. Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I want to be that kind of doll. I want to be that kind of person who invites people, even though they're different than us, and meet them eye to eye.
Yeah.
I think that's because I think we're strong enough for that, to hold space for that. Even our Chancellor Merz, if you're listening, if you're seeing us,
Drop us a DM.
come here, baby. Come here. We have space for you, honey. So the other one, who was the one? The Klöckner, the
Julia Knack.
she doesn't want us there. So let's talk. Like,
Yeah.
we're open for this.
Come
oh my
to
god,
our circus.
this is so like having those kind of
We
guests.
train animals here.
Oh god, look at them.
What?
Well, I'm a circus here. I think it's more interesting to have someone who's so opposite to us here,
It is true.
rather
yeah.
than another fucking boring gay man sitting there. Like what the fuck? I'm done with gay men.
It's so liberating.
Oh my gosh.
Finally, I can explore my bisexual side.
No, I want some Nazis here. Girl, hot take. Let's have some Nazis here. Let's talk with the Nazis.
If you're a Nazi, send us a DM.
Please send us a DM, and maybe you can get into this pussy.
Would you let yourself be fucked by a Nazi?
No. Even though I'm a prostitute, I do
Where
have
do you,
values.
do you draw the line somewhere?
Yes, of course. I
Where?
think that's also a different episode that we're going to have about
Yeah.
sex work and what we do and what I do. I think your
Bodily autonomy.
body autonomy,
Being a slut.
being what it means, just like to have boundaries, expressing them, and also constantly assessing them in the culture. So that's gonna be a very big topic.
Sexual liberation.
Oh god, honey,
Yeah.
I'm on my path there. So anyway, next question: how do we know each other? Girl, did you forget?
No, I was just pausing for the dramaticness. Well,
What was your first impression? Talk me through it.
Well, so we met at Whole Festival last year doing some kind of a photo shoot. And then all of a sudden, I'm like noticing this person in the vicinity of my eye. She's running around, trying to grab everybody's attention. And I'm like, oh, I like that. Someone who is so fiercely too much, because I could really see myself in that. And I think that's something that I've always had an issue with my entire life, that I was always caught being too much, being too extra, taking up too much space, just because I am the tallest woman alive. And
She's very tall.
Yes, honey. And I always had to shrink myself in order to fit into people's ideas of who I should be. And I feel like when I first saw you, I saw like a little part of myself in you.
A little. I am a few centimeters shorter than her, so
Yeah.
not with those heels, honey.
You're catching up.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah, and I think we're both just doing whatever the fuck we want, whatever the beep we want. And that's something that I love about you, that you don't compromise yourself for anything or for anyone. And you're going to claim your space.
Period.
And even if the methods can be controversial sometimes.
Yeah.
Again, pause for dramatic.
No, I appreciate that. Oh, sweetie.
And yeah, and I think there's way too little people in this world that are doing this. And I really want to encourage everyone to stand up for themselves and to not try to constantly code switch wherever you are. And of course, sometimes it's survival and sometimes it's very necessary. But also, I think a lot of the times we underestimate the power that we hold. And this is especially for queer and trans people. Living out loud, living authentically, and living grand is a huge power that we have because we have faced who we are and we have chosen the person that we want to be instead of who we think or we were taught to be. So that's just a little word of encouragement on this note. But I also want to know from you.
Yes.
How did you...
My first impression of you,
Yeah.
like just like you said, I saw you first time at Whole Festival, and I have a very strong pattern recognition. Like I might look like the dumb blonde to you, which I can be sometimes when I'm high on ketamine.
What?
But I do have a very hyper analytical vision of the world, and when I see something that is outstanding, I feel pulled towards it. And with you, seeing someone so tall, because I feel like a lot of tall people, they make themselves small sometimes so that they fit into spaces, so that they don't break social cues or whatever. But seeing you, a tall trans woman, walking around with your neck held high, I remember it, still like walking in your bikini and stuff. And it was just like, who is this? And that's the only question that I would ask myself, who is this? And if I was a younger version of myself with a lot more insecurities, I would have asked myself, who does she think she is?
Oh.
But I was getting inspired that moment. That's how I knew I wasn't getting jealous. I was getting inspired. I think that's something that femininity does. Femininity can intimidate when you're not self-secure.
Yeah.
But once you're secure in yourself and you see strong femininity, strong independent femininity, that is, you get inspired because you know what it takes to get there. So the work that it needs to be done, the self-respect, the idea, the knowledge of how to claim space without disrespecting anybody else, but just how to express yourself. And I don't know if we talked much, but ever since then, I was like, I followed her on Instagram, looked through her photos and stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, she is that bitch. Also lesbian, of course. And
Aspiring.
whatever
Let's get into that
whatever
later.
that means.
Do you want to know?
We will make a lesbian episode.
Let's make a
lesbian episode. It's gonna be that. But yeah, I was very inspired by getting to know you, and with every meeting that we had, with every conversation, I was getting more and more inspired because you really put in the work. And yeah, just today I was like, I acknowledge your softness and your little puppiness sometimes. It's just beautiful. You are a beautiful soul, and we're not gonna get too soft here because this is a bitchy podcast. But we gotta acknowledge the things that are here and that brought us here. So,
because in the end, this is also, we're doing this for us as well. We're doing it for the community, obviously, and for us. We hope that at some point people are listening and people are getting empowered, getting inspired, maybe learning something. But also, this is really a project also for us as a friendship.
yes.
To invest in our friendship and to see how we can connect on different levels. Because I also think sometimes within our community, within our subculture, it's so easy to connect very superficially and to connect through looks, through outfits, through going out, through like being ridiculous on the dance floor. And we rarely, or that's at least my experience, we rarely take the time to sit down, to ground ourselves, to really think and speak our mind, speak our truth, and to keep challenging also ourselves in a context that feels respectful, that feels somehow, that feels mutually understanding and mutually empowering. So I think for me that's also a huge part, just to make space for this kind of interaction within my life and within the community, that because we need to have these kind of conversations. We need to talk about what we're going through. We need to talk about what is dividing the community. We need to talk about solutions. Where do we want to go? How can we approach this issue? And this is also where we want to include the community. So this is also, a call out to everyone.
Please.
Please.
If you have ideas, if you have things that you want to contribute to our podcast, this is our intentions, our mission is also, just like you said, building our friendship, getting to know each other more. And this is the essence of being queer, right? Seeing each other eye to eye and investing something, creating something without perfectionism. So our podcast is going to grow naturally, organically, with your feedback, with how we want to perceive ourselves, and with the flow of the time. So if you have ideas, if you have feedback, if you have criticism,
Anything.
keep it to yourself. No, only compliments. How do you think of my outfit? Who's sexier today?
What are the double Ds doing? How are the double Ds today?
Well, this is
She's getting there. She's trying.
my boob job is
There
coming,
needs to be a room to grow.
honey. So
Not everybody can be perfect.
last question from this little page: why doll domination? Is domination not something bad?
Who wrote that question?
I wrote that question because I was at work the other day. I told my coworker about this podcast, and she was like, "Well, is domination not something bad? Shouldn't we work towards like more like friendlier terms?" And I was like,
I think this podcast is really gonna be about fighting fire with fire, to be honest. And you don't have to love that, but that's how it's gonna be. And I think we live in a world that is so strongly, fiercely dominated by a certain member of this society, which is 1% straight, white, pedophilic men.
period.
So we need to reverse that. We need to have a different kind of We need to have a different kind of domination, which is the doll domination, the doll
Period.
supremacy. And this is not about putting everybody else down. That's something I think people usually misunderstand in this kind of idea, in the framing of this idea. It's about emphasizing and focusing on the most marginalized in order to lift everybody else up.
Period.
And we're not planning on eradicating all men, just some.
Depends. Quintessentially, it's about justice. When something is out of scale, when something is being taken away from a certain people, from a community, from a nation, from whatever, getting back into a level of equality, you have to take something back.
Mm-hmm.
And I can ask nicely.
But nobody's going to listen. And we have asked nicely for forever.
So we're going to demand, we're going to take. And taking can look dominating sometimes.
Yeah.
And when you see us, it will be dominating. So here's the answer.
And I also think being a doll itself, it's not only about your gender transition. It's not only about becoming a woman. It's not about feminizing yourself exclusively. Because I always tell people, if people would give me a choice, do you want to be a trans woman or a cis woman? I will be a trans woman every single day, every single second of every day. Because why would you give up something that you have transformed so radically to then go to the boring other alternative of the spectrum? Girl, no, you have worked so hard. And I love this about our community, that now we're getting to an understanding that being a doll doesn't mean that you want to be a cis woman. It means that you are uncomfortable. It means that you are challenging the status quo, be that through a certain degree of gender nonconformity, be that through the way you present yourself, the femininity you hold, the ways how you can bring together masculinity and femininity, the way how you can inspire others in the community because you choose yourself. And that, I think, is what I really want to bring to the table. I think we both want to bring to the table that dolls are the future.
Empowerment. We want to give strength, show how we got there because it's work. And again, coming back to politics, when oppression is so prevalent in the community or like in the world, we have to get tools to get our power back. And those tools must be radical because how do you, like, have you seen outside? Have you seen the news? Have you seen with how much power and strength these oppressive systems try to keep us down? If that is not radical, then I don't know how else our resistance should look like. We should fight fire with fire at this point. And the fire that we put in is in our community and in our self-empowerment. So that's that.
Get your fire ready. Start kindling.
So, babes, I think you've prepared some questions for me.
Oh, yes. I think I have. So, let me start with the first one. Oh, you wrote them down.
I wrote them here for you.
Oh, so kind. I don't have a memory. I love that. So,
yes, let's get into
this. So, we're going to do a round of asking each other some questions, getting to know each other, but also for you to get to know us. And the first question that I want to ask you is simple but telling of your character.
Ooh.
What is your idol? Who is your idol?
Oh, my idol. So I must be honest here. I'm an anarchist. I don't believe in putting anyone else on a pedestal. For me, every person is on the same level, so I don't idolize people. Back in the day, I was a huge fan of American pop culture celebrities like Britney Spears, Beyonce, like everything the United States of pedophilia have spoon-fed me. But now I've come to the realization I can't idolize anyone. The only inspiring person, the real inspirational person in my life, it's myself. Like, I walk up every morning, look in this fucking mirror, and I'm like, that bitch.
Girl, you are your own idol?
I think it is. Really, I've really come to terms with this and call me self-centered, call me self-absorbed, and yes, I agree.
But you want to inspire yourself to be a better version of yourself?
Actually, yes. My nightlife persona, my alter ego with the glasses and everything, like just as you see, that's an alter ego. I've created that in nightlife clubbing, and I've taken that as a figurehead for how I want to be in life. She's radical. She's really rebellious. Does whatever she wants. And my little insecure self back in the day when I started having that persona was getting inspired by myself. That's everything I've always wanted to be, and I could be that in the clubs. So let me take that idea of myself and take it step by step into my private life. And this character is built on values, intentions, and pure childlike self-expression. My child self personified. So yes, I am my own idol.
Okay. We're going to leave it there.
Period.
What's your question?
My question for you is, I remember. If you would explain aliens what men are, typical behavior of men, how would you explain to aliens? Like, what is being around men in a men-centered society mean to you?
Okay, so I would tell them, like, hey, do you know animals? Have you, like, seen animals? Let's assume they have seen animals. So we're taking a squirrel. For me, men are squirrels. Not because they're cute, but because they're curious. They poke their nose wherever they don't belong, impose themselves. At the same time, they are extremely scared and they run away and they haven't dealt with themselves. They haven't dealt with their own insecurities, the traumas, the pain that has stayed with them from their upbringing as boys in our society, being taught not to cry, not to show weakness, to be dominant, to be handy. And I think that inflicts so much violence upon you. And I cannot resonate because I was never socialized as a boy. So I can only see from other people's experience or from what I've read and from what other people have told me. But it's so much pain and so much insecurity, and then you somehow need to overpower that with pretend,
Performance.
with pretentiousness, with pretend dominance, with pretend strength, and making yourself feel bigger by putting others down. And inside of you, there's this little tiny squirrel that just wants to run away and find a cave and be cuddled. And I just wish all the men that they are able to confront this part of themselves. And I love seeing men that you see they have done the work. They have taken everything that happened to them, put it in a context, seeing it's not their fault that they're socialized in the way they were, and work on what has happened to them, what is their traumas, and what they are still carrying with themselves, and to come to a point where your masculinity doesn't feel like a force that you need to assert upon others, but rather you can take masculinity and show vulnerability and show softness and cry and be there for others. And
Shout out to the soft boys.
exactly.
Shout out to the soft boys, because there are some beautiful men out there who are inspirational, who exactly just like vulnerable. We love to see it. We love to see it. If you're listening, if you're seeing this, and I'm seeing one right now, in the back of a camera, shout out to you. We love the soft boys,
We
the
love
vulnerable boys.
Yes, yeah. Then you can like turn like a scared squirrel into a little chubby bear.
We love the bears.
We little chubby, non-violent bears that takes care of the dolls.
Period. I think we'll have a separate episode on men specifically, and in our community specifically gay men.
Yes.
And we will also talk about the responsibility that they have when it comes to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for
But
this
thanks
answer.
for this question. That was interesting. So let's keep going with, and we're going back to the childhood.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. So I want to ask you, is there a moment from your childhood that you like to think about? Because as I said, sometimes that childhood can be so connected to pain, to suffering, to not being able to be who we are, but also sometimes there can be these golden moments. And I'm curious if you can remember, if you have like a feeling of a moment like that and would like to share it.
I think the quintessential moment, thank you for the question first, that really exemplifies my character right now is how I, as a child, survived and the tools that I had to survive. Because I did have a very difficult childhood. Retrospectively, I would say it was filled with a lot of trauma, with a lot of othering, and unexpressed femininity, and bullying, etc. And there's one recurring thing that always helped me escape into something that made me feel safe, and that's fantasy. Specifically animes, video games, nerd culture. I'm so grateful for that. And if you have those memories as well, then you will relate what it means to go home from school or wherever, close your door, open that laptop or Nintendo or whatever it was, and switch into that world of fantasy where you could really be something, be someone, do something, express yourself, play maybe a girl character, I don't know. That was always my escape world. So if you see these glasses, which I'm always gonna wear, it's and not to that, because it's an anime cosplay glass from my favorite anime, One Piece. And I think my favorite childhood memory is knowing that my safer space was always in the fantasy world.
Aww.
And now I'm creating that fantasy world here by being delusional and distorting reality.
Yeah, always being on the mission for something or someone.
Always, honey. Ooh, let me just get a bit closer here. Okay, a little break.
Lesbians!
Wie lange haben wir schon?
Okay, dann.
Lange Folge.
Wir werden wahrscheinlich
stimmt.
schneiden.
Ja.
Bei mir.
Mir gestellt, dass du hast mir gerade eine Frage gestellt?
Ja. Da komme ich dann.
The next question to you. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Bitch, you took my question.
Well, that's...
I can't believe this.
Is this my
That
problem?
is so mean. I really wanted to ask this question so I don't get asked. That didn't work out. Fuck. Shit, I hate this kind of question.
She was the one who posed the question, so like I just.
Exactly. I always try to ask people the questions that
But
I
you
don't want to answer. Does that make sense?
Yes, but now you gotta answer.
Okay. Sometimes for me it's hard to think about the future, and I have different scenarios in my head. But all of these scenarios, I feel like I don't want to tie to them. Like I want to, no, I have many different scenarios in my head, but I don't want to get stuck with any of them because I feel like the future is just so unpredictable at this point. There is this future that I see myself getting engaged with politics somehow and working.
We're becoming politicians together.
That idea, that is a vision that we have, and I would love that, and I would love to make change in that kind of way. But then at the same time, I'm asking myself, where's the political landscape in 10 years? Does this country still even exist? Does this continent still exist? Like,
Hopefully not.
hot take, but truly, like, where are we going with in terms of election? Already the far right are taking over all kind of countries. Wherever you look, there is some far right party gaining election votes, no, gaining popularity, and it's only a matter of time, it seems at least, until that's going to be the case here. And then I'm asking myself, like, do I want to be that person that is fighting in the time when fascism will be in the government in Germany? Arguably, it already somehow is in there, but at least not the party. The party. Or is there another way? And there I could see myself living in more communal structures and emphasizing more on mutual aid and empowerment within a system that fails us. So building up alternative structures of how we care for each other, how we show up for each other, living together as queer and trans people. And
I think that would be a very interesting episode as well. Like, how can we build structure outside of existing infrastructure?
Yeah.
So we can get inspired and like work on stuff. I think that would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think it's very important because more and more we're seeing like structures being eroded, right? Like from within. And we cannot count on the state to support us. And we already know in case something goes down, like queer and trans people, racialized people, disabled people are going to be the first one to be chopped. Their services from the government, the support through health insurances, all of this is going to be cut and is already being cut in many countries all over the world. So, yeah, we do need to think about how we can provide for ourselves.
Period.
And that is another vision that I have for the future, to be part of that effort. But then I think so, like, these are like my two main things.
I see that for you.
But I also feel like I don't want to get tied. I cannot get tied to anything. I don't even know what I'm doing next week. Like I
Object impermanence.
Exactly. It's like, let's not get too attached.
I love. So last question.
So last question from me to you. How is it possible to be this gorgeous?
Oh, well, it takes effort, actually.
Tell him.
I always say gorgeousness, sexiness, beauty is a reflection of capitalistic ideals that is imposed on us, Western Eurocentric beauty standards. So everything is a fucking illusion. Everything is a fucking performance. Everything is just some sort of expression that you feel like picked up somewhere and you use it because it makes you feel comfortable in society. I love being perceived as sexy and gorgeous and beautiful. But at the end of the day, it's confidence that is built on self-worth, mental health, and knowing exactly that you belong in this world. Then having that kind of self-trust, putting it out there, and just picking up everything that you feel comfortable wearing or doing and existing. And that's for me personally, connected to my heritage as an Afghan person. I mean, right now, I don't really see much Afghan except for my beautiful body. But you will see some Afghan outfits from me. Also, childhood self, sex worker self, like really indulging into my identity as a person and the oppressive systems that have pushed me to that point. Yeah, and putting that through fashion. So gorgeousness is work through self-trust, knowing who you are, how to take it from everything in the world, getting inspired by other people, and just doing it. So you can put the most beautiful things onto you, but honey, confidence, self-trust, knowing your self-worth, that's sexy. And that will take you places.
I love how you turned a compliment into a monologue.
You know, that's my superpower. I can turn everything to a topic about me. Because just like I said, idol, superstar. So I think it's time to wrap it up, shall we?
Yeah, it's been a bit...
Otherwise, I start another monologue.
Okay, quick, cut.
No. Thank you for listening to our first podcast episode.
Yeah.
Domination will come in a monthly rhythm.
Yay.
And again, if you have any feedback or anything to say, keep it to yourself because I'm not interested. No, I'm kidding.
I will read her for it.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you.
Yes, also I think this is a trailer episode. We dove into some things a bit more in depth, but also for the future, we really want to take one topic per episode and really go into it, honey. Like deep throat that topic and really get to the bottom of it. So if you are not yet feeling it 100%, just wait and see.
Who's not feeling it? You want to feel it?
Beat them up.
Bye.